arm. What am I doing?
Well, it's time to kick the tires and light the fires, good buddy. Contact.
Engine on at?
1014.
1014.
Right up, I sat in the water. I sat in the wet spot. Oh no. Oh well. And that's why you shouldn't wear jeans when you're out sailing. Oh well. Cold water never hurt a sailor. Alright, so. It's one of those mornings, folks. Really. This is Deception Point Cove, and we're leaving here. We decided we're going to go to Port Protection. It's going to be a fairly long day, about 7 hours.
Yeah, just under 30 miles.
Yeah. So, but Sumner Strait should be fairly interesting. The weather is predicted to be mild. It's going to be overcast, maybe a little rain later, and winds of not much, gradually increasing up to about 15 knots from the east. Should be fine.
Should be an uneventful trip.
Should be an uneventful trip, and that's always the way we plan it. We always plan for uneventful trips. So
I'll finish getting sorted in here, and battery on both.
Battery on both.
All right. All right, so we've just swept through the minefield here of crab pots.
These guys were busy, weren't they, this morning?
Yeah. There's a boat that came in next to us and dropped probably, I think, 4 crab pots. I don't know what the limit is. I'm sure they were at their limit, but they were very busy. And there's hundreds of pots out here. This is not something we want to be going through at night.
It's a busy morning at the south end of Wrangell Narrows.
Holy crow. This is insane.
Before we got underway, there were 2 barges. I would hate to run into them coming the opposite direction up there in the narrow part of the channel.
Well, where we ran into Cracker Bay, there was no room to maneuver at all.
I know.
Not for us. I mean, their wake would have, if we'd stayed where we were, their wake would have just pretty much rolled us right over. Because they weren't slowing down.
No. Well, I think they did slow down some.
Did they? Well,
when they went past us, we called them on the radio and said, you know, we're going to wait for you to get past in the wide spot. And they still rolled us over pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think he did slow down when he went by us.
Good. Excellent. That's nice to know.
Yeah. The guy with the proper British accent.
Yeah, Captain. Those guys were moored in front of us in Juneau.
In Juneau, right.
So I wonder where they've been, because they're kind of going opposite of us now.
Yeah, they go a lot faster.
Yeah, they certainly do. And in style, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So we're headed we wrestled with it this morning and listened to the weather reports and decided that Port Protection was going to be our next stop.
Yeah. It's interesting. Wooden Wheel Cove at Port Protection looks like an interesting place.
Yeah, 2 public floats, and I don't think any of them are connected, so we'll have to figure out how to get into land if we want to go ashore.
But, you know, we can talk to some of the fishermen down there, maybe get some scoop on the more southerly part of Southeast.
Because we're thinking about doing El Capitan.
Yeah.
And coming out in Sea Otter
Cove.
Sea Otter Cove.
Bay or whatever it was.
Which looks really interesting.
It's like fun, yeah.
And El Capitan is kind of like, what's that one pass? Shoot. Forget that one pass that everybody was asking if we went through.
Kiku Strait, Pass?
Rocky Pass, yeah. Oh, bunch off to your
they just keep going forever.
But yeah, Rocky Pass. We talked to a lot of people that went through Rocky Pass this summer.
Yeah.
And some big boats too.
Yep.
So, oh well.
Well, 4 feet. We draw 4 feet, and that's what a lot of these crabbers draw. You know, these 50-foot seine boats. They're, you know, 4-foot draft when they're not loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to these, you know, fishing boats and stuff, we're pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
A sailboat.
Yeah. So we're figuring about 6 hours to Port Protection. Or 8 hours?
Well, depending on how fast we manage to go.
6 to 8 hours. It's quite the
2
range.
weeks. I'm sure we'll be there in 2 weeks.
Wow, man.
Navigator's note: use every available source for navigation. Use your eyeballs first of all, but always cross-check between your magnetic compass and your GPS, your knot meter, and your GPS speed over the ground, SOG, on your chart plotter. If the course on your chart plotter and your magnetic compass don't agree, it may be because there's a substantial magnetic variation wherever you happen to be, or it may be because there's a current setting you one way or the other. If there's a current setting you off course, the little boat icon on your chart plotter is going to point the direction the boat's actually moving, even if it's moving sideways. It'll show you pointing in that direction. So double check, look at your chart for the magnetic variation locally, and watch your GPS. Also compare the speed over the ground, SOG, on your chart plotter or GPS with the speed through the water from your knot meter. And if there's a substantial difference,
If there's a difference, something's up.
something's up. Right now, what we have going on, I was wondering why the fishing boats were all heading off way to the northwest, and we had plotted a course line going directly to where we want to go. All obviously going to the same place, but all of a sudden I noticed, hey, we're not going that way. I had to keep making corrections on our autopilot. I started double checking everything and cross checking, and I realized we have a pretty substantial current setting us to the southeast. Not good, because there's a shoal over there. And we need to go between two navigation marks. We had to keep correcting correcting our course to the northwest to get us going in the right direction. In fact, I got to take another 10 degrees. No, we're good right now. But we're steering a course of right now. The GPS says we're moving at 230. But the course we're steering on the magnetic compass is 230, but there's also a 20-degree magnetic variation.
And there was 40 degrees when we came out of
There was a 40-degree magnetic variation coming out of the Deception Point, which is probably why they call it Deception Point. And then the current grabbed us, and so anyway, you have to pay attention to these things. Also, trust your eyes, your eyeballs.
Don't just set the tiller pilot and go.
Yeah, don't just set the tiller pilot and curl up with a book, because it's not going to work out too well for you in the end. Pair of binoculars, your chart, scan the horizon for those marks. It's a green buoy coming up here. And we notice that the fishing boat is now lined up with us again. So just a little note, use every source of information you have available. Use your coast pilot, will tell you about currents. There aren't current stations everywhere, so you
Certainly
may not be able
compared to the Pacific Northwest. They're everywhere up there.
In the Northwest, in the Washington, British Columbia area, there's currents. They're well known and well plotted, and you can buy books that'll tell you exactly where they are at what times of day.
But we've noticed here, there's not much.
But that's
available.
not the case in Southeast Alaska. There are a few, but the only way you're going to know about them is to experience them, and you really have to pay attention to what's going on around you. Use your coastal navigation skills, line up, use a hand-bearing compass, line up on landmarks, islands, use your chart plotter, but pay attention to your magnetic compass and knot meter GPS.
Otherwise, it's going to be some big trouble.
And yeah, it's not a good idea to travel at night or in bad visibility, but what we do is, with the chart plotter, I put my waypoints a good distance away from every feature, every navigation aid, and every landmark, every point of land or reef or shoal. I try to give it a wide berth, at least 1 nautical mile whenever possible. And you can cut it closer when you have good visibility, but when the visibility closes in, stay on your course line and stay away from the rocks and stay away from the buoys. Pay close attention to the currents that are setting you one way or another. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that this afternoon. It's challenging navigating up here sometimes. Even in this, the water is, it's like a mill pond. Looks like it, but there's a stiff current running.
Well, we're only doing 4.4, 4.5.
Right now we're doing 4.445, but 10 minutes ago we were doing 6.5 knots. And not straight towards the bow either. We were going off to the side at 6.5 knots towards that shoal over there. And that's what prompted me to make this little addendum to our daily log.
Just passing eye opener. Sumner Strait.
There's room on the boat. I think that's